If you're a maintenance supervisor for a commercial property, you've had to deal with everything from leaky faucets to flickering light bulbs. But nothing's worse than that ancient boiler that's lived in the building since the day it was built, 50 years ago. It's enough to make anyone lose their cool. That's where Grainger comes in. With industrial-grade products and dependable fast delivery, Grainger can help with any challenge, from worn-out components to everyday necessities. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Welcome back to the Sword of Truth podcast, a chapter by chapter reread of the Sword of Truth series with a spunky craft brew on the side. I'm Jade, and I'm here with Nate and Aaron as we flirt through chapter 14 of Soul of Fire.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
I thought you read that just great.
Oh, thanks.
Didn't even feel like a performance, really. I feel like you made a connection with me personally, and I was just kind of wondering what you're doing after you're done with the podcast.
Might go have some tava bread.
I know a great local honey place that we could just smother all over that tava bread, if you catch my meaning.
I do. You know, we probably should have done this in a different language. Then he wouldn't even know.
Aaron, don't you have something going?
Oh, am I here too?
Yeah, where'd you come from?
You're not wearing an eye patch anymore. You don't have an excuse.
You're right. I should put the patch back on. It might help my chances with Jade.
I do like pirates.
Why, hello there.
We're not doing this again. She was scripted. It wasn't a performance.
Aaron's like, this is real. This is real.
That was our moment of truth. We don't really have, unless anybody else has anything to share today. No? Okay, cool. Yeah, we're moving on.
Didn't talk fast enough. Moving on.
So, in our last chapter, we met Beata and watched her walk away up the stairs with the aide to the minister. And Fitch was, like, not happy about it. He worried at first that it was because the minister saw him, and then Beata was not actually upset when she walked up the stairs, so he was just confused.
Yeah.
And now we get to leave him, and we rejoin Zedd and Ann and Nissel. Kind of.
So it was just like a little peek.
Sometimes Richard and Kaylin they get a little frustrating. I don't want to be away from them for a long time, but like sometimes it's nice to have maybe a chapter or two off. You know, if
break
you love
it up just a little bit.
Yeah,
so
if you love something, keep it at arm's distance, you know?
Well, they're gone. So they are not going to be in this chapter. Just spoiler alert. And
are
let's
you
see.
sure?
Yeah.
Like you're sure?
We're sure.
You saw them go?
I didn't, but Nissel did, and we're going to get into that. You guys. So we rejoin Zedd and Ann and Nissel. They're in Nissel's little hut. Zedd and Ann are still under their little blankies, and Nissel comes in and she's like, hey, they're gone. I watched them fucking go. Everyone gave them some accoutrements to go, and they took off. And Zedd's like, are you fucking sure they went? And then Nissel goes into a very long, drawn-out explanation of how she saw them fucking go. And then he turns over to Ann, who does not understand this whole conversation that they just had in mud people language, and goes, yeah, I think they're gone. I don't fucking know. She talks a lot.
I didn't like any of this. Zedd seems like a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
It's kind of the joke they used to do in the old Kung Fu movies where the guy's mouth is moving quite a bit, but then he only says, no. Or something. What was that? Kung Pao Enter the Fist?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was fucking crazy.
Real quick, that's not the old Kung Fu movies. That's the bad US versions of very good Kung Fu movies.
Well, yeah, I guess I was referring to the joke
but
that
specifically Kung Pao. Oh, yeah.
Where they
fucking
throw it off
monologue.
on purpose.
Haven't seen him.
Yeah.
No.
But then, in real life, you would be like, oh, what the fuck was that? There was obviously more than... Yeah, they're gone.
It's not even that so much that he kind of like, to Nissel's face and to her ears, he's like being kind to her. But then over to Anne,
exactly.
he's being a dick about her.
Yeah.
And neither of the women know what's going on there.
Well, and here's the thing. Why did Nissel talk for so long? Because she knows ahead of time that Zedd's going to keep asking, are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure they're gone? Are you sure? So when Zedd then goes and translates what she just said because of Zedd, and then Zedd tells Anne, I don't know, she just talks a lot for no reason. You're a fucking dickhead, dude.
Yeah.
You're a dick. That's not what nice people do to their friends.
Plus, we know at other points in the series, it's been a common thing to give me all the details because any little tiny detail might be the most important thing.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It's super not uncommon for people to just assume that if Zedd is asking, he wants all the details.
What this raises for me is that I want to know what other interactions they've had like throughout this book. What else has been going on? Because the two of them are very comfortable with each other. Like obviously Anne and Zedd are also. And so there's been like a weird dichotomy in this household for this entire book. And I wish we would have seen a little bit more of that.
Yeah, this definitely seems like Zedd and Nissel have known each other for a long time.
Yeah, they're comfy.
And they may have spent a few nights together where they spent all night together.
Well, because she's sassy with him.
Oh, yeah.
She pinches his little butt, and he calls her honey. They go back and forth, and is like, "Yeah, give me some honey on that tava bread.
Put
honey."
some honey on this bread."
Yeah.
He doesn't say it all creepy like that, though.
Well, I like Anne's call out too, where it's like, I would also like something to eat. I don't need my ass pinched, though.
Yeah.
Keep your fucking honey. I will take the bread, though.
But they've been faking it. So they were fine when Richard and Kaylin came in. And they're glad to be out of the blankets now. They are a little bit tired. They aren't like up to 100%, but they were definitely exaggerating their symptoms. And Nissel was in on the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
They are losing their magic.
Yeah.
But they're not physically ill, really.
Right.
I was confused at that because I was like, were they hiding? Did they have this conversation where all three of us agreed that they could have talked more, should have talked more, explained some things, and got everybody on the same page? Didn't. And then hid in their beds until Richard and Kaylin were gone to avoid having the conversation that we all know they should have fucking had right then. I was like, what the fuck are they doing? No, they were just playing up their, oh, I'm too weak to go.
I think they were just trying to emphasize how dire it was and the fact that Zedd couldn't possibly go with them.
And
even
we
though he
do know,
could.
well, I mean,
Slow 'em down.
later in the chapter, we get the reason for that.
Yeah.
But we're not there quite yet. But yeah, they were in fact lying.
No. He never really lied, which is for sure something honest people say when they're talking about things they said to their grandchildren.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says this when Anne asks, when did you learn the mud people language? Because I feel like Kaylin and Richard would be surprised by that and would like to know that. And Zedd's like, hey, it's good to give yourself some wiggle room. You know, I've known it for a while. So, yeah, I didn't really lie. I just didn't say it.
It's
Truth by omission.
Yeah.
That they toy with this line when the whole thing is truth, right?
In details?
Like, I'm wondering why, because I understand the practicality of it, but I am also not like the number one soldier for truth out there either. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes it's better to lie. That's a weird thing to say, but sometimes a little tiny lie just brightens someone's day or whatever like that.
Yeah.
The point is, Zedd is going, whoa, I didn't lie to him. And it's like, that's not what we want from Zedd. What we want from Zedd is fucking straight talk. Richard, this is what's going on. Because if Zedd is lying to Richard, that is only slowing us down. And there's a lot of things that require immediate attention. We can't afford to be slowed down. So it just fucks up the whole thing, even if it's just a little white lie.
Because I think of it even as like a surface level thing. Hey, how you doing today? Boy, it's not good. Anxiety's through the roof. Now I don't feel great. Money's tight. All that. It's like, dude, we're meeting up for coffee. Like this, I didn't want to get into that. That's a lie. If I don't tell you what I'm actually feeling and I go, yeah, I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
Oh, yeah.
That's a white lie.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's not bad. You don't have to emotionally unload on every single person who asks how you're doing. It's okay to lie sometimes. But to your point, that's not this situation.
Right.
You think
Right.
Richard wouldn't have loved to have a second translator when he's trying to figure out what the fuck's going on with the chicken? Now, granted, we know Zedd wasn't on his side with that. But
complication.
Yeah.
Well, also, how many of these mud, like, if he knows the mud people language, he was obviously taught, he's communicated with these people. How many of these people know that he knows the language and know that he is not telling Richard that he knows the language and is playing dumb?
Well, and he could have taught Richard this language.
Also, just the fact that everyone here knows that you're lying to that person.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, though, I don't know, because this is a very small village that has mostly by happenstance become relevant because it's just where Richard and Kaylin went. I don't remember how they have got to the mud people.
It's close to the boundary.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, they could have went other ways and it would have been a different set of people. So, like, Zedd would not have reason to teach Richard mud people language. But I didn't like this lie.
Yeah, it
Lies are
felt
okay,
a little
not
weird
this one.
coming from Zedd.
Mm-hmm.
Well, also, the lurk is fake.
Ah, oh,
Yeah.
good.
It's the chimes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Son of a bitch lie.
Richard was right. Surprise.
Crazy that the seeker of truth sought the truth,
Yeah.
found the truth, said he had the truth, was told he's not right, and now we find out he's right.
Son of a bitch.
And
Yeah.
the chimes are out there, and he's not aware that what the danger is.
Mm-hmm.
You just put him in the lion cage, Zedd. What the fuck are you doing,
Yeah.
man?
Well, it's because he can't be trusted to know the truth. You can't trust the seeker of truth with the truth.
No.
Also, I have to give Zedd credit. I am furious at the man, but he just sent Richard on the world's greatest snipe hunt. You ever been snipe hunting, Aaron? Jade, have your parents ever asked you to go snipe hunting?
They didn't, but I know what it is.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers.
I watched King of the Hill.
Yeah, I've seen King of the Hill.
I'll keep this brief, but for those of you who don't know, what used to happen during like our cadet outings and then camping when we were like a big group and the parents were all hanging out and having a couple of beers, they'd go, you should go see if you could find a snipe. And we'd be like, oh, what's a snipe? And they'd say, oh, it's this little thing about yay high, yay big. And they would give 0 specifics. And then all the kids would just run off and try and find this thing that doesn't fucking exist. And the parents could hang out for a little while.
Yeah.
Zedd just did that on an epic level to Richard.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I do. There is something about us seeing the trickster in action.
Ah.
I do. There is something where it's like, okay, I like the action. I don't like any of the context around the action. All of that's real bad, in my opinion.
I think Zedd's kind of pirate. He's a good guy. And yeah, they did do some questionable things, but also they like gave cheaper goods to the regular poor folks and did good things overall. So I think that's where Zedd's coming from.
Overalls?
That's word association.
Oh. Well,
They did some questionable things, kill,
but
rape.
it's
murder,
for not
stealing.
Zedd. Zedd didn't do he killed some people.
No,
yeah,
I was
he
saying
did do that.
When you were talking about pirates, they do some questionable things.
Yeah. In general. But the economy.
well, Anne, she doesn't really hate the fact that they used something as being a fake thing instead of the chimes, but she hates the word lurk. She doesn't like that they use that as the name for it. And she's like, where the fuck did you come up with it?
Because it sounds dumb, but
Yeah.
I think if anything, lurk sounds sinister.
That's what
Doesn't
Zedd was
it?
saying. That's what
Yeah.
his argument was. But she's
Yeah.
like, that's stupid.
I was
Lurk.
say-
It
yeah.
lurks around.
It just, to me, it was another level of frustration because we're talking about how Anne thinks that this was such a dumb thing that children would be able to solve it. Do you know who couldn't solve it? Our main character. So is our main character dumb as fuck? Or is Zedd just the best trickster in the world?
No, they're just very
know that-
manipulative.
Yeah, well, and we do know
Manipulative.
Yeah.
Zedd is the trickster.
He is the trickster.
Yeah.
But
Well,
Richard
got
is like Richard Rahl, Emperor of Dahara and the Midlands, Seeker of Truth, Haver of Tempers. Nothing gets past this guy, and Zedd tricked him.
Well, to be fair, Richard was like actively fighting against the whole time until Zedd was like, I'm gonna die unless you go do this thing and believe me. So, like,
Tricked
I
him.
mean, it's, yeah.
Did he also do the lookest over there, madest thou look?
I'm just saying,
Yes, he pointed at a bottle.
Motherfucker.
I'm just saying, if your old as hell, dead, or not dead, dying grandpa is like, you need to believe me and go do this thing or I will die, and you go, fuck you, old man, you're wrong. I know what I'm talking about. You're a dick. So, like, yes, he is a good trickster, but also, not really. It's just kind of like morality wins out there. Like, okay, old man, I guess I gotta try to save your fucking life.
You asked me to do this on your deathbed.
Yeah.
Of course I'm going to do this
Yeah.
for you. Yeah.
Well, Jade, I would argue that a good trickster is not a good moral person
Yeah.
because you can't be if you're a good trickster.
I would say they're the most trustworthy people, though.
No.
Because a trickster is always going to trick, and you can always trust that they're going to trick, even if you're not sure if they're tricking you.
Which means they're untrustworthy.
Which means you can trust that they'll always trick.
I have a trick for you.
You have
we're podcasting.
You have my full attention, Jade.
In the next few seconds, you're gonna hear a sword sound, and then we're gonna disappear.
Ooh.
And then we'll come back and we'll have a beer.
Aaron, my friend, what are we drinking today?
Today we are drinking Junk and Rubbish from Shorts Brewery. And
Well,
before
we should throw it out.
you say we throw it out,
I just did.
let me see if this changes your mind.
Okay.
You've made your family disappear. It's time to pop in Angels with Filthy Souls, throw on a napkin bib, pour yourself a ginormous mug of Junk and Rubbish, our cool cocoa marshmallow stout. Reminiscent of hot cocos and overflowing sundaes, topping it with an excessive amounts of marshmallows, candy, chocolate, syrup, and also, a choice you could make. It's 7.5%. I know you guys have already taken your sips. I'm about to take my first sip. I'd like to hear your thoughts and feelings.
First impressions are not super great. I do want to point out that the image on the beer can is the TV from Home Alone with the movie Angels with Filthy Souls. So it's a call out to those movies, and that's fucking great. So they do get points for that, but can't stress this enough. We don't give points for beers. We give ratings.
We give ratings, yes.
So I'm going to have to put this guy at a 5. I think it honestly might be the coconut that is doing something to this beer that I don't like. And normally I fucking love coconut. I'm going to call it a 5.
Okay. Jade?
There's no coconut in
There's
here.
no coconut in the beer. There's cocoa. There's cocoa, but there's no coconut.
Oh, well, then it's
I know what you're what you're talking about, though. I know what you're talking about.
Well, that's what I'm kind of if there's not coconut,
4. Are we going
then
to a
there's
4?
a fucking problem.
Are we going to 4?
I think, yeah. I think this is a 4.
Jade, what do you
Sorry, it's junk and rubbish. Do not care for, can confirm.
I just think that this just shows everyone has different tastes. You know? Because I don't think this is that bad. Especially afterwards, once you sit with it in your mouth, it tastes like you just had a chocolate in your mouth.
It does not.
Listen,
it's not bad. Like,
hey,
it's a
you
4.
had
It's not
your-
a 2.
Hey, this is my time.
That's
for the
right.
mic
I
now.
apologize. I won't defend myself anymore.
You have rescinded your time. It is now mine. I would like to take it back. Thank you.
I rescind the remainder of my time.
Thank you. I think it's actually pretty good. I could probably drink, especially, you know what? It makes me think of winter. I wouldn't want to drink this during summertime. I would like to drink this cozied up in a little blankie, maybe watching a movie. I like it a whole lot. I would probably give it like a 6.
Same spot. I'm with you, Jade. It's a 6. It talks about marshmallow and it talks about chocolate. It's not sweet. There's no sweetness to it, but it is a good, nice malty beer. I do like it.
It's not sweet. I feel like at the end,
Little
like
bit.
my mouth feels sweet now after having drinks of it.
It's not enough.
While it's in my mouth, it feels a little bit like, but I feel like hot chocolate is kind of like that anyways. Like, I don't altogether enjoy the act of drinking hot chocolate so much as the way I feel afterwards.
That nice warm feeling. Yeah. Yeah, I love the malty of it, but I think it's a 6. It's good. I'll have another. But I can see where some people might not like it.
So I'm not that far off. When
No, you're
said
really not.
4.
Yeah.
You guys are only slightly higher
Your
than
reaction
I am.
to
Well,
it
that's
was
because I
was a
misread
lot.
the can and thought this should be coconut when it's clearly not. And I was like, this is all wrong. But
Well-
yeah, even with just the chocolate, now after it sits after a minute, the aftertaste is not so bad. But I can't judge a beer on its aftertaste.
I think it should be part of it.
Yeah, it should be part of your rating.
Yeah, part of it, but
Yeah.
not the whole thing.
No, I think you're good.
It's factored in.
Hey, it's just okay beer if you can find it. You might like it. It's it's pretty
It's
good.
short, so you can find it for sure.
Yeah, but I think it's probably time that we throw this out on our way back to the chapter. The empty can. I'll drink mine, but I think Nate's might have a little bit left in it.
No, it doesn't have anything left in it. I drank it quite fast.
Doesn't taste bad if it goes down in one gulp.
And we're back.
Your prophecy was true. I heard the sword sound and I have a beer.
Yeah, I'm
This
like
is unbelievable.
really smart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe
well
you
done.
are the prophet.
Yeah. Anyways, we're talking about the lurk, right?
Yes.
The fake lurk.
Yeah. We made it up. It's a lie. Not a real thing.
The name comes from a cat
Mhm.
that Zedd and Ann had before she tragically passed away. The little thing lurked around the house, so
Yeah.
she named it Lurk,
Mhm.
which is funny that she waited so long to name it because I guess Puck came with a name from the shelter.
I doubt they got a cat from a shelter back in their time.
No, they just
They
found
probably
it,
just
probably.
found a cat. Probably didn't spay or neuter it either.
Well, there's the cat distribution system. I'm pretty sure
yes,
that's
of course.
Yeah.
When you see a cat, then it becomes your cat.
I'm
which
so
is
glad that
sometimes
you're
the rule
so
my wife
aware of
follows.
that because
Yeah,
I need you to
100%.
be so aware of that
Oh, no.
I am
system.
aware that some people
No.
live by that rule.
Anyways, so Puck came with a name, and I had a list. I had a list of names that I tried, but he's just a Puck.
He's Puck.
So I guess Lurk was probably just Lurk.
It's just Lurk. He just lurks around,
Lurks around like a little lurker.
which is true. Cats do fucking do that. So I get it.
Yeah, they do have a lurky quality. But yeah, so we also get confirmation that the bottle will not do anything when he breaks it. It's just like a stupid fucking bottle. He thought it looked cool. He negotiated for it. He thought he got a real good deal. He felt real good about himself. He was like, I'm so fucking smart. He put it on the little pedestal. Then he found it cheaper from another fucking person and realized he was ripped off the whole fucking time. And now it stays there as a like testament to not being fucking cocky.
But then that whole cool thing about where he told Richard that you can hit the bottle, but if you don't break the bottle with the sword, you actually just bump it really hard and then it smashes on the floor, then none of the magic stuff happens and it'll be fucked up and everybody's going to be dead forever, was a fucking lie and totally useless. But that was such a cool concept.
Yeah, I think that is just because you can't just tell, like, you had to make it special in some way, especially because Richard specifically was like, you're telling me I just have to go break a fucking bottle. I don't have to do it in any special way. So I think Zedd had to pull out of his ass
He had to spice it up.
that you have to do something. Okay, but no magic works. So what can I say that you have to do? Okay, the sword of truth still works.
Have to
Also,
use the sword.
You
yeah.
should have that back in your possession, you fucking idiot. So go get the sword
Not wrong on that.
and break the bottle.
True.
The thing that I struggled with here was Zedd tells us how this bottle is a monument to not being cocky. So why did he just think it was a better idea to lie to his grandson, who he named the Seeker of Truth, instead of just telling him all this information and then clarifying, hey, Richard, you didn't get married at any point in your travels, did you? There might not be the fact that Kaylin would be your third wife, did you? No, I'm just going to go ahead and assume That has not happened.
Yeah, they forgot to name a couple people that we've been talking about already on the show. No mention of Denna was had.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, granted, we know that there was no marriage there, but like...
But she mated him. That, like, if the spirits are picky about their shit, that might very well count.
Exactly, yeah. If the chime's magic is less worried about labels and more about intent and deed.
That's what
I'm saying. That could be considered a marriage,
Yeah, that's my thought process. In Denna's eyes?
Yeah.
Do you think that was I think that was a marriage in Denna's eyes.
Or at least she wished it was maybe by the end. It was like, oh, this was someone who could have saved me. Like, I am in love with this person.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so there's a lot of questions here that could have been solved by chatting, mainly about this wives thing. I also wanted to say, I was talking to Nate, it seems weird to me, and I guess I need to go back and look at kind of the order of operations of book 2. But Verna travels with Richard to the pop. In that journey is where they meet Duchailu.
Yes.
That marriage, quote unquote, happens in that time period.
Kind of pretty much against Richard's consent.
It does.
You know,
it does, but it happens.
It happened, yeah.
And Verna is reporting back to Anne during that time. Anne is still alive when Verna and Richard get back. So it's strange to me that Anne knows nothing about that whole situation.
Maybe it's because Anne, as a very extremely smart person and someone in power, decided to never mention to anyone it would be important to tell her if Richard got married to someone against his will, even.
Well, I just feel like he's the ripple in the pond. At the very least, Anne knew how important he was. Verna did too. She was out 20 fucking years to get this fucking kid.
Yeah. But if thousands of years of prophecy before that.
So you're telling me there wasn't a full fucking debriefing when you got, like, first of all, you had your journey book. We're not relaying information about the days.
Yeah.
You're not coming back and giving a full fucking debriefing of what happened the whole time that you were gone.
Yeah.
Granted, I'm sure if I go back, I'm going to read reasons and, like, where everyone was. But it feels like there should have at least been a report written.
I think what it was is that Anne lied to Verna to get her to do something that she wanted done without having to give reasons for it. So she knew Richard was important, but probably for lies and made up reasons. No, he's an adult wizard, so he's a danger. You need to go get him. Also, he's in some prophecies, but not going to tell you what those prophecies are. Not going to tell you if they're important or not, because we know Anne, like Zedd, lies to people to get them to do what they want. They manipulate people because they're in charge. And for some reason, some people think you can't let people know information or bad things will happen.
But that's weird, though, because then wouldn't Anne care? It seems like maybe she doesn't think it matters.
Oh.
He just got here, so that's all that matters.
If Anne does not tell Verna why Richard is important, Verna is going to hear about this weird woman claiming to have married Richard, and she's going to go, this is not something I am wasting Prelate Anne's time with, because he's important because he's an adult wizard. The only important thing was that he did magic.
Well, and I understand.
We talked about that.
I understand Verna's point on that, but Anne should have been more...
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Inquisitive.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, agreed. 100%. We're on the same page. This is Anne's fault that they don't know information.
Yeah. That's all I wanted to get to. Is that I had that thought while we were talking, while we were listening and talking about it earlier today, is that, like, this should have been something that Anne knows as the prelate, as somebody who sent somebody out for 20 fucking years to find this guy.
Yeah.
You should have gotten a full fucking debriefing on a capture.
It seems to be like a common theme.
Yeah.
In the last couple of books. Specifically, we did not realize how fast time was moving.
Yeah.
You know, the first book happens in the matter of, I guess months.
It's a couple months,
right?
Yeah.
Second book is the same. Third book is matter of a few weeks, as was Temple of the Winds. So we're moving quickly.
We will be getting fairly definitive confirmation of timelines within a few chapters. There is something that comes up very, very soon that is kind of locks that down for us. But yeah, all interesting points, I feel like. They keep talking about things. They gave Richard every fucking reason noble, selfish, whatever, to
Mhm.
go to the keep. So that's what Zedd's argument is here. Except the truth. They gave him everything but
Yes.
the fucking truth,
Yep.
which is fine. That's what any person, especially the seeker of truth, needs in order to operate
Yeah.
with a full toolbox.
This feels very self-sabotaging.
Absolutely ridiculous, especially
Yeah.
for somebody who's like, details matter, all
Yep.
of this stuff. It's just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's just crazy that they're like, we gave him every reason except the truth that he was sniffing around the whole fucking time.
Mm-hmm. The truth that he found.
Yeah.
He already proved that lying to him is not a good idea, and then they were like, we should lie to him more.
It's wild to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, it's a little
That-
wild.
As the first wizard and the prelate, both of these people decide that the proper course forward is lying to the seeker of truth, the
Mhm.
one person who every prophecy fucking hinges on, along with the confessor of the midlet. Like, these are wild. This is wild choices.
The one person who Anne had a lecture to Kaylin about how you just kind of got to follow him without understanding. 'Cause
Yeah.
he's the seeker of truth.
But let's keep
and-
certain bits of information
But
away
yeah,
from him.
let's lie to him. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And try to manipulate him into doing things we want him to do instead of following my own advice and following him instead.
And giving him the actual good reason for why you think he should be doing this.
Yeah.
Because they say, okay, Kaylin loosed the chimes. Richard is going to be bound and determined to fucking set it right. So they think he's going to do this no matter what. And they think they gave him what he needed. This was a way to help.
Mhm.
And his only safety is in the keep. This is what Zedd's hypothesis is because the chimes can't hurt someone or like they can't invade the area that they were summoned. They were summoned in the keep. They need to get back to the keep.
Yeah.
Don't know why. We
Yeah.
couldn't just tell Richard chimes are here. Keep is the only place we're going to be safe. Probably because he thinks he's going to need to solve it. That's not where he's going to be able to solve it. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
2 thumbs up.
But
You're
still,
correct.
That's not giving him all the information. Like, until you are at the keep, you are in danger. Could also be helpful. Even if Richard does decide to solve the fucking thing, he could be like, hey, until you are in this specific place, you are not safe, no matter what you think. You're underneath your invisible cloak at night with your silver armbands and your sword by your side, but it doesn't matter because that evil chicken could come sneak up on your ass and peck your eyes out in the middle of the night and you'd have no defense until it was at least you were blind in an eye. You know what I mean? Like, you can't always just punch the thing and you have to be careful.
Well, also, when he believes it's the chimes, we know it's the chimes. Water, fire, air.
All dangerous things.
All dangerous things all around you. If you think that those things are dangerous, you're going to be a lot more cautious than if you think, oh, it's not that. It's just this weird lurk thing.
Travel safer. Don't use campfires at night. Maybe we won't follow the river, but we'll be somewhat nearby. We got to get water eventually. You know what I mean? It changes the whole path of your travel.
It's actually pretty, and I know this is modern thinking. This is not modern times in the book, but it's pretty well established, I think, in the book that those are the 3 things you need to live. You need air to breathe. You need water to drink because you can actually go much longer without water. You can go much longer without food than you can water. Water is much more essential to survival. And fire. No, you don't need fire, but you need to have shelter. And that usually means protection from things that'll make you cold.
You need to have warmth when it freezes.
If you
at night.
have heat, you can survive that. So did we tell the guy that they did. They told him to like avoid fire and water. They didn't say anything about air as far as I can remember. I don't remember them saying make sure to wear windbreakers.
Richard, literally don't breathe.
Did they say something about air?
No, they didn't.
Oh, okay. But it's like, it's you sent him off to protect him by not giving him all the information he would need to keep himself safe. Because you had to lie.
They also believe that the chimes are after Richard specifically, so maybe they will die out without him in their sights, right? So maybe they'll just disappear if they can't get him, which is wild that first of all, that they think it's after him and they're not telling him. Second of all, so far from what we've seen of the chimes, they have actively avoided Richard.
or for sure not giving a fuck about going after only Richard.
Right.
Because it was whoever just disrespected the chicken died.
Not even whoever. Richard disrespected the chicken.
Yeah.
And then it went after a child.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking like when Junie went after the chicken,
died. It went after Junie.
Yeah.
Richard disrespected it. It went after a child.
Yeah.
It didn't go after Kaylin specifically. It called her mother. So these things are just...
It got some bugs out of her hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was in the fire. It was
That's all I got. I'm fucked. I could only last about 2 minutes.
What?
I've been holding my breath that whole time.
wild.
I noticed you were quiet.
Sorry.
But also, like, the fire.
Yeah.
It was there in front of him. It was still dancing around. He kicked at it.
He was fucking with it. It wasn't trying to get touched by
disrespected it directly.
And then it flew away.
Yeah.
So I just think that's a little pin to put in there because I think that's interesting considering what the wizard is telling us is that it's going after him. It didn't seem to me to be going actively after Richard.
It seems like Zedd is saying that's their purpose now. Like they're drawn to Richard. It's like he's making it seem like it's not even a choice. Like their purpose here is to go after Richard.
To find him, yeah.
And so
makes the idea that he didn't fucking tell him about it even more crazy.
Yeah, there's another point that he makes at the end as why. But I want to make that point throughout the rest of the book because that's what it says their purpose is.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen so far,
yeah.
I don't know.
Seems like not the case.
Interesting.
I think this is a really good place to go take a little break and have a little drink. We'll be back right after this. Sorry. Okay, so Nissel comes back to the room. She brings tea and bread for everybody and then sits down and pats the bed next to her for Zedd to come in and cuddle.
Oh, yeah.
So she brought tea and bread, but she had the honey.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She brought honey to her honey.
Okay.
She had a fucking plan. She was like, okay, this motherfucker wants bread. I'm bringing bread. I'm bringing drinks. I'm not getting up to do shit for a while. I'm bringing everything they need, and then that motherfucker's going to give me what I want.
This is Nissel's version of Netflix and chill.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to hang out and watch movies. Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Hang out and watch movies. Wink.
What is wildly interesting about this is that she then sits down after bringing in the food and the drink, and she's like, yeah, cuddle with me. And she actively sits here during their conversation that she understands none of, and is just cuddling the fuck out of Zedd while he's eating, like feeding him, and just like, hey, baby. Well, there's two different things happening in this room at one time, and it is wild.
Yeah, Zedd and Nissel are doing a little tava and spoon.
Yeah.
You know, they got their little Netflix and chill version going on. I don't know if I ever saw this explicitly happen, but it reminded me of like any college setting movie that you've seen where it's like, you'll just have the two roommates talking, or, you know, like raunchy comedy movies. Where it's like two roommates are just like chit-chatting and then you find out one of the roommates is having sex. Like, it's like the roommate and his girlfriend are having sex, but the two roommates are just chit-chatting like nothing's happening. And it's like, I don't think this happens in real life. Maybe it did.
You know
Maybe
what?
it did.
It sort of feels like you're in the room with one of these people and you're texting with the other person. And neither one of them knows that the other thing is happening.
Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like. Yeah, it's weird.
Like, I'm having this serious conversation with Ann, but low-key under the table, I'm texting Nissel like, hey, you up?
Yeah. Yeah, you're having a nice little chit-chat over some crumpets and tea, and it's like, damn, girl, you look good.
Yeah.
Well, I think Anne made it clear she didn't need any of the butt pinching, I believe, that was going on.
That's true.
So Zedd's like, fine, me and Nissel are chilling tonight.
I'm gonna get in where I fit in, motherfucker.
I don't want to put anything on you that you don't want, so we're not going to include you in what could be a three-way, Anne.
Consent.
Cough could be a three-way, but isn't, and that's fine.
Consent's always good.
Yeah.
Really a shame for Anne that she didn't lean in at any point.
She totally could have.
She should have. Like, come on, you're not fucking Nathan. Who else is in your age range?
She might. That collar might serve more than one purpose, but that's
What
just
we've seen so far-
speculation.
what we've seen so far, they don't dip in company ink over there. So.
Yeah, well, and Nathan's not necessarily down for the collar, so even so, it's not something he wants.
That's what I'm saying. Okay,
Good,
so,
glad we cleared that up.
Yeah. And
HR.
Ann and Zedd's conversation is kind of about, they wish they knew what was in that Mountain Twin book that Richard was asking about. Ann had pretended to write in the journey book back to Verna, but she had already stopped working, so she knew she wasn't getting an answer in there. She knew, though, from Verna that it had been destroyed. They'd already discussed it. She knew it was gone a long time ago.
Was that for the benefit of Richard?
Mm-hmm.
So then Richard has false information that Verna is aware of the very last updates that he was given. So even if this plan for Zedd to send him away works, by the time they get where they're going, they're going to see Verna and she's going to be like, "Nah, man, I didn't hear any of that shit. What are you talking about?"
Verna's not at the keep.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But here's the thing.
We got to get the map back out, guys.
Here's the thing. Richard knows or thinks he knows that Verna is like maybe aware of the situation. So now I don't know if that's going to be relevant because I don't know past this chapter and the next one. Behind the scenes, I already know what happens in the next chapter. I read 2 at a time. But, yeah, I know, shocker. But if something comes up and Richard has to think about something about Verna, he now does not have correct information. Because he got lied to.
Yeah, because he believed one thing.
Yes.
That wasn't true.
Yes.
His view, potentially.
Yep.
That doesn't mean it is for sure.
No idea.
It might not ever come up.
Hindsight
But
is
if
only
it
2020.
does,
Yep.
Then everything he thinks he could assume safely
Exactly.
is not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck. Dude, I was mildly upset at the beginning of this chapter. I'm like full on pissed at Zedd now. What the fuck is he doing? It's not helping anything.
Don't let Ann get out
And
scot
furthermore,
clean.
I know where this fucking is all headed. So I'm like, yeah, why does he?
At first, I was like, why did they even lie about the drug? Because, like, they know that they admitted magic is degrading. That's why
Right.
they said they were on their deathbeds or whatever.
Yeah.
But no, that happened a chapter or 2 ago. So this was before Richard realized that magic was, that's why they lied, because they were admitting that magic was degrading. Yet
Right.
at that point.
Yes. Yeah.
And then they did, and then it was so bad that they're going to die tomorrow unless Richard hurries.
Because they lied about this, he has bad information about what Verna does or doesn't know.
It's just like, what's the point in, like, you had finally admitted that magic wasn't working. So,
that too.
like, I understand hindsight's 2020. So
Yeah.
they didn't know that they shouldn't have lied about it in the first place. But why the fuck do you lie about it in the first place? It didn't help anybody to tell him that the journey book stopped working. It's one of the first symptoms. Like, fucking dumb. You're fucking dumb.
This did actually make me feel a little bit better because it's been established that the chimes would affect like strong magic first. And this just reinforces that journey books aren't easy to make. Like, they're part of
by
that.
saying the weak stuff would be affected first, though.
We've heard both things.
Well,
It got twisted up.
So that's so that's also
I still kind of feel like we can't really know what it would affect first. That it's just going to be affected somehow.
Because when you get lied to, how do you know when the lie had started, did start, has ended, will end? You can't. One lie ruins trust.
Like,
That's the whole thing.
Yeah, if you're told one thing and you're told it's the truth, and you hear another thing and you're told it's the lie, but it's the opposite, you're going to believe that, and it's going to affect literally everything you do.
I think we were told initially it would affect the small things, and that's where we got the thing about the caterpillar and all this and all that. Then Zedd and Ann got sick, and they said the reason they were sick was because the lurk is killing magic. So
stupid.
Exactly. Which one is true? Which one is true? Does it affect the weak? Does it affect the most? Do journey books actually not work right now? No clue. Are Zedd and Ann lying to us now? I don't know.
I don't think they're lying to camera.
Probably not lying to camera.
Necessarily. Yeah,
we can't go full fourth
There
wall.
was a moment of, are they gone? Oh, cool. We can stop fucking pretending now. So
Now,
I think this is them laying it all out.
Obviously, the thing is right now it's the truth because Nissel doesn't know what they're saying. It's just Zedd and Ann.
Right.
This chapter is pure canon, pure truth, pure lore. That we know. I think that's the only thing we can say for sure right now.
They still didn't clarify it in this chapter.
No, they haven't.
So Zedd is going at this point.
Yeah.
He does say, I'm going to go to Andrith for answers about the chimes because that's where they were entombed. Interesting enough. And neither one of them has any other ideas. So that's where they're going to fucking start. Hopefully he can fix that there.
So he knows where, like, the base is for these chimes.
Wait, hold on. I thought they were going to Toskala. I thought it said in the chapter Toskala.
It did, but you might not have remembered. I
That's
took notes.
very good possibility.
So I know, and I've read the whole fucking book. We learned a couple chapters ago that Andrith and Toskala are the same place. A weird narrator kind of cut into the chapter and was like, Zedd doesn't know this, but Toskala is now Andrith. And it was weird. We talked about it even on the episode, that it was weird that the narrator, who doesn't normally do that, cut in.
Because he did say that it was like Toskala or whatever they're calling it. Because I knew there was that.
The reason they threw that part in is because we were told earlier in the book that it's called Andrith now.
Okay, wonderful.
And we've been in Andrith now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I had forgotten that.
So he's going to go there. That's where they're entombed. It seems odd again, that we wouldn't have discussed with Richard that there's a fucking base of operations for the chimes.
I think that's what makes this so confusing, is because, okay, fine. You want to keep Richard away from the thing that's dangerous to him. I understand that instinct. I even partially understand the instinct of not giving him all of the information to make sure that he doesn't go any deeper. The only problem with that is that he's the seeker, so he is going to. It like every book, every fucking chapter, he's the guy that's going to stall the conversation to ask the question to make sure that he knows all the bits. So we're working with a timeline here on Zedd's Lie to begin with. Zedd has to fucking know that. He has to know that, right? I guess the point is, he could have done this in a totally different way. It could have solved a lot of the things that we keep stopping to bitch about because, like, none of it's necessary. Man, maybe I'm saying, if you're going to lie, pick a good lie. Pick the right one that gets everything done that you need it to do, and take the time to think about that shit. Because if you're going to lie, make it fucking count.
So would you say that maybe it's not just important to know the truth, but know when to wield the truth?
There you go.
I'm sorry. I joked on my own brilliance there. Yeah, holy fuck. Yes.
If you're going to lie, pick a good one.
Pick a good lie. People are stupid. Pick a good lie.
Well, Richard...
Sounds like Seinfeld.
It's also like Richard is one of the only wizards left in fucking this timeline.
Yeah.
So you go fuck off and go hide in a fucking box for a little while. Why are you sending off your fucking ace in the hole to go hide in a hole instead of being like, hey, come with me to the one place that we might be able to solve this problem, and maybe me and you together can solve the problem?
Yeah.
Who else is going to be out? Like, I'm an old dude and I'm weak and I don't have subtractive.
I think this is like 99% of our problem for the last 5 chapters or so. It's just that, man, if everybody has all the information, we can go about this way better. Everybody has an easier time, and it just makes things smoother. Regardless if you're trying to keep someone safe, tell them the fucking truth. Tell them to be fucking careful. And that makes your life better. Why the fuck aren't our characters, who are the soldiers of truth, doing that?
Yeah.
That's fucked. It's fucked.
Yeah. Well.
I'm sorry. I'm a bit frustrated.
I thought we were all excited that we were away from Fitch for a minute.
Are
we not?
Are
we not anymore?
Well, I mean,
how did reading the words Richard and Kaylin on this page feel, Aaron?
Well, I was thinking I wanted to go back to Richard and Kaylin after the it's Fetch, and it's Fetch.
Right. His name is Fitch, but they call him Fetch.
Yeah, it's Fetch.
Stop trying to make Fetch happen.
Damn it! I told myself I would never give someone an opportunity to tell me that. Failed my one life goal.
Yeah, there you go. So, Anne is not going to Andrith.
Wow. Call UCB with that shit. I mean, you're going to the top.
Anne is going to save the sisters since Jagang's power is going to fail too. She's going to do what Verna tried to do, part 2. Definitely going to work this time for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely a good idea for our 2 most knowledgeable people of the situation and most powerful people to separate and go on their own and try to do little missions as old people alone. Definitely good ideas.
Mhm.
That's what's happening.
Yeah, no notes.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a super powerful wizard, and yeah, that was a. Well, one of them's a super powerful wizard, and the other one is a super powerful magic user in her own right. And as long as they have their magic, they should be able to transport or travel and traverse and do everything on their own. It's a great plan.
That you didn't give her he gets wizard and she gets magic user.
I was going to say witch, but I knew that wasn't right.
She's a sorceress, right?
Sister of the light. Or
She's a sorceress.
Yeah, I think we've been over this and I forgot that too.
Which,
Yeah.
actually, I got to make a clarification
witch.
real fast.
Witch.
I've recently, maybe not recently, but I remember saying on the podcast that wizards had inherent magic, and that was full wrong. Wizards are learned magic. They have the gift, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have an ability to use it. So a wizard has the gift and then, still probably has to go to
Richard.
Eidendrill, right,
Yeah.
and then be around other wizards and they can train them up real good.
Yeah.
But a sorceress has just innate abilities. So they have the gift, but do shit, but don't understand that it's the gift. And then they have to go to learn to strengthen their control. But it's like for a sorceress, it's just something they can do.
Well,
And they don't necessarily have to learn Latin to do it.
if a wizard doesn't go to learn, he will die in this universe because his
Correct.
headaches will make him die.
That's true.
Because that's a smart evolutionary path for wizards. Anyways. Anne tells Zedd that he is a clever man and she will miss his trickster ways. And she's like, hey, I see where Richard gets it. And gets it from his old man. I know I'm
Yeah.
giving you shit, but I like you.
This is kind of a bittersweet moment.
Yeah.
We've survived cannibals together. We've survived mud fights.
I like
We
that
acted
you were like, other
crazy.
shit.
Yeah, other stuff. Because the whole time Zedd kind of had an air of, it'll be fine. When they were acting crazy
Well,
and
he was a
shit like
prisoner
that.
at first of her.
Right, but what
Yeah.
I'm saying is Zedd seemingly had the whole terrible situation under control the whole time.
Yeah.
He was obviously concerned, but he
He's
was
a-
also like, let's just act nuts. This is totally going to get us out free. And we all think, Zedd, you're crazy. But then here they are, parting ways safely. And let me check my notes here. Alive. So it worked.
He's been a smooth operator from the get. Even when she had him as a prisoner,
Yeah.
he
yeah.
wasn't actually as a it's all
Yeah, she had him collared.
under his control.
If we got to get through the mud, I'm glad I had a pig like you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're such a romantic.
Yeah.
I could have said shit. Mud can be sexy. Poop is not.
Okay. Well,
Don't you kink shame.
Zedd says that Anne either needs to save the sisters or fucking kill them all.
Yeah, they're either going to be your friends or a liability.
Yeah, we
That's-
can't have him with that power over there. So
Yeah.
fucking
This being a reference to the Sisters of the Light and the Dark. Like,
Yeah,
the
both.
sisters are all over there. You're going to have to go determine who's good, who's bad, save the good ones, kill the bad ones. Like, you're doing a whole Mission Impossible.
no, even kill the good ones if you can't save them.
Yeah, because if they're under Jagang's enslavement in magic, if magic stays and they stay under Jagang's enslavement, they're a liability.
I had this whole thing fucked up. I thought Zedd was trying to tell her to parse them out and then clean house.
Nope.
But he's saying,
No.
look, if they're corrupted, if he's in their brains, they're a fucking liability. They may have
If
to
they
go
don't come
too.
with you, if
Yeah.
they're there, you gotta kill them.
Remember the whole thing with Verna?
Yeah.
Zedd's saying, don't let that happen. As soon as you get an inkling that they're not fully in on getting rescued, off them.
Fucking done.
Mhm.
Wow, he's a brutal son of a bitch. There's
Yeah.
that wind to death shit.
Yeah.
The wind changes and he goes, you know what? Fuck it. Kill them all.
Kill them all.
This time, I don't think he's going to use a wall, though.
No.
I think he might actually do it.
Well, he can't. He can't use the wall. He told Richard that. So.
Well, yeah. And we're
he's-
talking about Ann. He's not doing anything. He's
Yeah.
just chilling and having
He's
honey.
like, bitch, you want to go try to do this? Fine. But if it doesn't work, you better do a lot more work than you're planning on.
I want to see the scene where she's like, all right, Zedd, well, it's been an honor and a privilege. I hope you travel well. They give each other a long hug and says goodbye. And then Zedd turns around and goes, hey, Ann. She goes, yeah, Zedd? And he goes, can I get that honey from you before you go? We're having the tava bread, and it kind of goes with, yeah, thanks. Bye. Have fun now. Okay, is she gone? And she hears that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my dream scenario.
That's funny.
I thought it was.
So, here's the thing. Kaylin had promised the chimes Richard's soul accidentally. That's the thing that they've been hiding from us the whole time. Is that when she did the whole little thing and called them into this world, she called them into this world by promising them to have Richard's soul if they came.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, again, interesting because it has not seemed like any of them have been trying to get Richard's soul thus far.
Yeah, but does that mean that they are they trying to lure him somewhere? Is it not like a find and execute? Is it a, find? I don't know. But they don't seem to be interested in Richard much.
I just want us to keep that, lurking in the back of our brain, if you will.
Oh, I see what you
for the
did.
rest of this book because I feel like we're going to need to chat about it.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay.
And asks whatever happened to the cat.
Yes.
It was lost track of,
Mhm.
apparently.
There was a lot going on, with like the impending war, his daughter,
it's
wife
fine.
captured.
Yeah, so no
Yeah.
big deal. Sometimes living things just get lost track of, It is the way it is. And sometimes when you let your cat in and out of the house, they just kind of disappear. And it just happens sometimes and you don't realize it for weeks and it's not a big deal. Maybe they're eating rats somewhere else. It's totally fine. Not a big thing at all.
Do not interrupt Carol Baskins.
The fuck? The fuck did I read? This is wild. We always had a cat afterwards, so it makes it fun.
Yeah, you
Are
just
you fucking joking?
you just
with me?
replace them.
You fucking joking? Just like the Facebook post I see once a week with people being like, "Oh, little Clarabelle is missing. She's an indoor-outdoor cat. She hasn't come back in 3 days." Hey, bitch. Either she found a home that loved her or she's dead. How do you feel now? That is your fault. Your fault.
Well, I think that's our wizard note for today.
Gee, Pete.
No, yeah, Zedd is a terrible fucking pet owner. He just let his cat disappear amidst life.
Lost track
It's not
of.
a good reason.
Lost
He's trying to justify
of.
his. Babe, I hear you. I hear you. That would not happen to Puck, no matter what.
Wild.
I definitely got the vibe that these were like barn cats. That it was like, yeah, we put food out, but they're wild cats that we sometimes pet.
Except that you live inside of a keep.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
If you live in the country, you got a barn,
Yeah.
I'll give you some leeway. You live in a city or like a suburb. Like, are you joking?
Yeah.
No. Your cat stays in the house. I'm probably gonna fight with people. I'll be done now. That's my note. That's my wizard note.
I actually have a prophecy. I know what's going on and everything makes sense. This is Zedd paid for Richard and Kaylin's honeymoon. He's saying, hey, go back to the keep, lock the doors, fuck like rabbits. A whole lot of chaos is going to go on outside, but like this is your guys' honeymoon that you deserve.
This is your opportunity. Go take it.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of big comfy beds. I can't tell you the truth because the truth, you won't do it, but you deserve a honeymoon. So just go over there. Things might work out. Also, everyone might kind of die that you love because most of the people you love are magic users. But fuck like rabbits. Go ahead. I think that's what it is. It's his honeymoon. But then, at the very end, he says that he never named one of them Lurk, and he did that as a whisper. So Ann couldn't hear it? So did anyone else think that there was never a single fucking cat named Lurk in Zedd's life? That he lied about that to Ann too? Because he's a trickster and you can't trust a single fucking thing he says.
Interesting. Do we know what his cat's name was at the very beginning of the book?
Cat.
He just called a cat, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird thing that was said at the end of this. At the end, he did have a cat that was named Lurk. He did not name a cat Lurk, but I think it's supposed to leave you with wonder as to whether or not Richard ever heard of a cat named Lurk.
Oh, he's just saying he never named one Lurk. I see. Okay. I like it.
That is the truth and our truth. And we would love, absolutely love to hear every single one of yours. So write to us in your collective journey books to podcastatt@gmail.com or find us on any of our social medias.
Glug.
If you would like to support this podcast, and we would so appreciate it if you did, find us over on patreon.com/podcastatt, where every tier is a happy tier. That's all for us, friends.
Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you real soon.
Bye.
Bye.